All right, I'm Louis Tomlinson. I've just been on the Zach Sang Show talking about all sorts. Check it out.
Let's do this. Zach Sang Show.
Hello, beautiful human. We got Dan here. Hey. We have Louis Tomlinson hanging out in the studio.
Hello.
Real talk. Does it still piss you off when people call you Louis? Because that is not your name.
No, because people back home, basically, right, I mean, my name is Louis, but I didn't love it when I was younger. Like, once I was old enough, I don't know why, I just didn't really love it. So I got known as Louis. All my friends from home call me Louis. And then I get there, it's close enough, sorry. And then I get there on me first day at the X Factor with Simon and, you know what I mean, all the judges, and he called me Louis. And like, you know what I mean, there's 3,000 people there. I'm absolutely bricking myself. I'm not about to say, excuse me, mate, you got my name wrong there. Even though it is my actual name, you know. So then it stuck. So I'm kind of both. There's a little story about my name.
Why were you... Referring to my dog, Lou. Why were you not a Louis fan growing up? Did you feel like Louis was more serious? Did he give you a different tone?
What I used to say as a kid is, I don't know why, but I came up with this complex, so I was like, Louis just sounds like a butler. That's what I used to say. That sounds like someone's butler. I just don't know, it's complex that as a kid. And then, yeah, like I say, Simon called me, and again, I'm not about to tell him, you got it wrong, mate.
Once Simon says, whatever he said, he could have called you Cat.
At that stage, you know what I mean? I'm just nodding my head and like looking around at these, how many people. I mean, I'd never done it like that before, you know what I mean?
Your life really is kind of crazy. Your ride is amazing. Your story is something else. And this music, it feels honest. It feels really true. And again, I've only had a very small glimpse into what Walls is going to be. But clearly very different for you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that. That's definitely my intention lyrically, always trying to be as honest as possible, do you know what I mean? And yeah, you know, I think the first, I've said before, you know, the first few singles that I made on my own, I was kind of being led by radio and doing what everyone else wanted, really. And I think I just took a moment and started making music that I was really, really proud of. And yeah, it's been a great experience. I'm really happy with where we finished up.
You've talked before about your process of finding out who you are as an artist. Today, as you sit here, what have you found out? Who are you?
I think I always knew. I think I just had to be confident and brave, really, and trust my gut a bit more. Because you know, the kind of influences that I have now haven't changed from, you know, what they were growing up. And I think, you know, One Direction was something completely different. And obviously less individual because there's a group, you know. So then being out on my own, I realised that actually, you know, this is completely me on my own. So I think I became a bit more of a perfectionist, really, and started pointing out little things that I think I could have ironed out and made more me.
Because do you become a perfectionist because everything is on you? You are 100% of the focus?
Yeah, and also I think in One Direction, you know, even like from a writing perspective, you're writing with 4 or 5 people in mind. So naturally, the concepts are slightly more vague. You know, they've got to be like relatable to all the boys. Whereas, you know, when you're writing for yourself, you know, it's only you really who's writing it. So it becomes naturally more personal.
It's your story.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the collection of 5 different personalities, 5 different shades of colors. It's you.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
you. Mm-hmm. What do you learn from One Direction that you still take with you and use daily?
I mean, most things.
Must be a ton, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, trying to be a bit more professional, like, you know what I mean? I didn't know anything like that.
Like what? Like basic decorum and
yeah,
manners?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And also, like, at first, like, you know, I had no experience like that, so just being part of, like, meetings with suits in there, you know what I mean? All that kind of vibe. Yeah, it took a second getting used to, but I think from a business sense, I feel like I learnt a lot in the band.
How about creatively? Because
that's where I mean,
you were tested.
That's that's where I started me writing off for the band. I wrote a lot of songs for the band, and I still feel like I'm getting better as a writer, you know, every song I write. But the experience that I got and the confidence I got to write and the people that I wrote with and, you know, the confidence they gave me, yeah, that's vital experience for me as a writer, definitely.
So that's confidence to accept your inner voice or to accept the ideas you have instead of being ashamed?
No, I think, you know what I mean, in that situation, naturally, if you've never been in it before, you know what I mean, it takes a bit of courage to speak up with your ideas and things that you can hear in your head and you're hoping other people think they're good. So I think you build up confidence there, but also it's experience. It's from being around really good people and good writers, and kind of just watching people and how they work and the clever little tricks that they use and how their minds work.
That goes a long way.
Definitely. Because there's some, everyone's incredible to work with. Well, most people.
Who is?
But there's some people there's some songwriters that are literally, they're just like made of magic. Like the stuff they come out with and the way they come up with these melodies or lyrics or whatever it is, it really is like magic.
And there's like, from where I'm sitting, we've talked to a lot of writers, a lot of artists. There's so many different types of writers. There's some that like just start spitting magic. There's some that sit with you and hear your life story and take notes and kind of turn that into something. What kind of writer are you, and who do you like having in the studio with you when it's time to create?
Well, because I still feel, although I've been writing for a while now, I still feel relatively new to it. So I like, in an ideal scenario, it's me and 2 other people that I've worked with before. My strength is lyrics, so I like to have someone in the room that's that's good at melody, and again that I've got experience that working with, because instinct of melody is taste also, you know what I mean? So I got to have that kind of experience working with people like that. And I normally go into the room and I kind of talk about some kind of memory or some concept that I'd had in my mind. And we'll just talk that through and be like, okay, that's a cool thing to talk about. And then we'll work on the melody and then we'll get into lyrics.
Do you figure out the record and the lyrics and obviously the melody and then build the production and the type of route you're looking to take with the record afterwards? Because
again, it changes on different who you're working with, but normally you have a basic idea, but the track itself, they won't normally, if we're writing, they won't spend too much time at the start, it'd just be bare bones really.
Like Kill My Mind, great record.
Yeah, we had an idea of how that was going to sound. That was that song was written as a bit of a statement of intent musically, really. So I wanted it to feel, energetic.
That's what I wanted to get to. Does that kind of set the tone for the album that's coming?
I think it's definitely one of the best moments on album. It's one of my favourite songs. And again, it was written in mind of something that's going to translate easy to the live show, and again, I've done it before live, and it's a great song to perform live. I think there's a couple of moments like that. I think that sound for me in general, I think it's a progression. So like I wouldn't want to put loads of songs completely like that on the album, because I think it's a progression. I know where I've come from, I know what my fans like listening to. So I'm always trying to blur the world of what I love and my taste and what they want, as fans.
And it is a balance.
Absolutely, it's got to be, yeah. Because at the end of the day, they're the people, they're the reason I do what I do,
It is pretty amazing to see the constant response that is really unwavering, the support and just the blanket of security.
Honestly, I often say, I bet most artists sit in the sofa and they say they've got amazing fans, but honestly, I think I got some extra special people. They are like super dedicated and super loyal, and do crazy things like send radio stations like little like starter packs, Someone told me today they got a box of M&Ms with me faces on it.
I got one
crazy.
of those too.
Right, okay.
She actually just spilled it all over my office the other day. It is pretty amazing. But I have a theory as to why you have a very tight fan relationship, and we'll get to that in a second. But I want to go back to Kill My Mind. I don't want to be that guy who goes, put this record in a box, tell me the genre that you were inspired by. But is it pop punk? Is it rock? Is it punk rock? Is it Britpop?
Britpop would be maybe the intention. But naturally, one of the reasons why I wanted to become a performer was I can't remember who bought it for me, but I got the Bullet in the Bible, Green Day live DVD, and it just blew my mind. I absolutely loved it. But naturally, where I grew up in the north of England, so
Oasis.
Britpop's absolutely massive. Oasis, the epitome of that sound. So I suppose there's influence from either side, really.
Is rock dead?
Nah, not as long as Liam Gallagher's around.
Yo, beautiful human, if you're considering going back to school, you really should ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits that you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of those questions, Arizona State University really is the perfect school for you. ASU offers over 200 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You're going to earn the same degree that you would on campus from wherever you are on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. If this is of any interest to you, seriously, text Zach, Z-A-C-H, to 35517. You'll get more information. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 87% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. Learn more right now about ASU online degree programs. Just text Zach to 35517. That is Z-A-C-H to 35517. Do you feel a sense of responsibility to keep that genre going? Because I feel like there's nobody here in the United States representing that sound on behalf of the United Kingdom.
I don't really think of it like that, you know what I mean? I'm just kind of following my art, doing what I love. I mean, in terms of responsibility and that, I don't really think that deep with it, to be honest, you know what I mean? I'm just doing what I love. People are taking to it nicely, so I can't complain.
What do live instruments mean to your creative process? Do you need
massive, yeah, it's really important to me, you know what I mean? It's that's why I think for a second it took me a while to figure out my sound, because, you know, when I grew up with pop radio, the kind of artists that were on pop radio in England were like, you know, Arctic Monkeys, Oasis, Amy Winehouse, the cooler side of that. And that was always the kind of like side of pop that I wanted to represent, you know what I mean? The cooler side, in my opinion. And then, you know, naturally as time's gone on, especially pop radio, it's more urban leaning. And I just can't really identify with any of those sounds. So I found myself, as I say, just going back to my roots a little bit.
But that's what's important, because what you just said, Arctic Monkeys, Amy Winehouse, that is a sound that is that is a lane today that I feel like is totally empty. And to your point of like, pop radio right now is more rhythm leaning. Yeah, but the truth is, pop radio at the end of the day needs to be made up of a collection of different songs from all the different genres, and we have a responsibility to program radio stations that sound like everything as opposed to just one thing.
Right.
And then there's some moments where you actually don't have the types of records that you need to diversify a playlist.
Yeah. You mean because the lines are blurred?
Yeah, and it's just like everything that's coming out is rhythmic, because when everybody goes right, everybody's going fucking right.
Well, that's the thing, and that irritates me, you know what I mean? So I do have, you know, that's the luxury I have as an artist, really, and that's what's been liberating for me, to be able to, because at times it has felt like swimming against the tide a little bit, you know what I mean? I no disrespect to, I've said the same name, so I can't say it again, but, you know, I could have made a record like someone, you know what I mean? Like the kind of people that are on radio, and it would have been easier for me, but it wouldn't have sat like right with me, you know? So sometimes I felt like I've been swimming against the tide, but I think it'll be worth it in the end.
But that's it. By the way, it's going to be worth it to the public, but most importantly, worth it to you.
Exactly. Because I put in a lot of, I work hard, do a lot of hours with it, so I've got to love it. And that's what I realised, you know. There's no disrespect to the other two songs that I did, because they were a great time in my life and I needed that experience. But, you know, it's been so liberating doing songs like Kill My Mind, honestly.
What is it that makes it liberating? Is it because you've had this sound pent up inside of you?
I think it's just a true payoff for any artist when you feel completely comfortable, and also when you releasing music that you genuinely, you know, would definitely listening to yourself in the car or whatever. And again, you know, there's been times where I've chased radio, and would I have listened to that song in my own time? Maybe not.
But Kill My Mind.
Definitely, all day, every day.
Yeah. Are you like a pop punk guy? Did you ever like?
There was a big indie, like pop, like indie bar where I'm from in Doncaster. Unbelievable place. £10 all you could drink. It was only legal for like 2 years. They realised it was a bad idea, you know what I mean? One of those places where 1 in 3 drinks just didn't taste like what you ordered, you know what I mean? So naturally we went there every Friday, so that definitely had a massive impact on me. And also I've been to some good festivals, and that also, you know, that's I mean, they're amazing, aren't they, festivals? I went to Glastonbury recently, this last one gone, and that was proper. I went from the Wednesday. I did it proper. I went from the Wednesday all the way through to Sunday.
Oh, Jesus.
I was absolutely knackered by the end of it. Yeah, it was good.
Well, because it's just a great collection of different types of music coming together. And
Absolutely, yeah.
all of these different genres. And I think in those moments, when you see festivals, you really get an idea for the fact that like music is a universal language.
Absolutely, definitely.
And even with the production or the instrumental style that you end up going with, like the lyrics, no matter what, they do tell a story. And I got to pride you on that. No matter what
you.
the record is that you put out or what the overall sound was, the lyrical integrity was always there. And
It's my biggest thing. It's the thing that's most important to me, you know what I mean? I think that's my job, really, as an artist, you know what I mean? You've got to write good lyrics. You've got to make people feel.
How do you do that? Like,
I think honesty. I think you know, sometimes, you know, being really honest in a song it can be difficult, especially when you're going through. It's a bit like speed dating at times when you're going through all these different sessions and you might have only worked with that person. You might never have worked with him before, and you've got to tell your life story. And sometimes that is a little bit, you know, difficult. But I think it's always good to be honest, because I think, you know, that translates to people.
Two of Us is, in my opinion, one of the most honest records I've ever heard.
Thank you.
It is beautiful. And as honest and as true it is to you, it is a record that could mean anything to anybody. Do you get what I'm saying? Different meaning for each individual.
Yeah, and that song, I've never had an experience like that as a songwriter, and it makes me really proud of what I do. Honestly, I've met some amazing fans. I did a meet and greet. I did a show in Madrid, and I did a meet and greet there. And this girl pulled me aside and she told me that she'd lost her dad, unfortunately, and how much that song had meant to her. And, you know, we wrote great songs, great pop songs in One Direction, but in terms of like emotional weight, like that was something new to me, you know what I mean? And just to take it away from that, we created that. And you know, obviously I've seen things of similar things. People, you know, tweeted me and stuff like that. And that, honestly, it's amazing that. It proper makes me feel good, that.
What?
And that's why music's sick, because you can turn something that, you know what I mean, is a little bit dark.
The darkest moment.
And then, you know what I mean, it helps people, man. That's why it's sick.
But your dark moment provides light for others. But the creation of this record, does it provide any light to you?
I think it did at the time. It's a while ago now since I wrote it. I think it did at the time. I think it also helped my creative process after that, because I've said before in interviews, every song that I wrote around that time lacked significance, really, because I had this weight over me that as a writer, this is something that I think I'm brave enough to tackle and that I should probably do, you know what I mean? And I just couldn't really get on with the rest of my writing until I got this song off my chest, really. So, yeah.
I get it, because it was weighing on you.
Yeah, a little bit, you know what I mean? And I just thought, you know, how can I write anything else? I just got to get this done, really.
What was it? What was there a defining moment that forced you to get the record out?
Yeah, it was. I think when I was first played the song, it was a verse and chorus, and it kind of forced my hand, because I'm always dead strong on being in the room from the start and at the birth of the song. So I got this song in my emails, and I remember listening to it. And the first time I listened to it, I didn't really listen to it. And then I listened to it again, and I was like, wow, like this is just perfect in the way that they'd set up the song. And then I went in with these two guys and finished the song off and, you know, made it mine. And yeah, it's something I'm really, you know, one of my proudest achievements, that song, really.
I could feel your blood run through me. You're written in my DNA, looking back in every mirror. I know you'll be waiting. I'll see you again. I mean, it's vivid. It's beautiful. Any nerves going into that room to write this record?
I think naturally, it's more nerves of the responsibility of writing a song like this, to be honest. Naturally, I suppose I was nervous about the topic, but it was more about the responsibility of writing a song of, like, this importance. And I mean that in my own sense, that, you know, how much it meant to me. I knew it had to be right. So naturally, I think there was nerves in the room. But as I remember the day going and when we finished the song off, it was actually more clinical and professional than you'd imagine, really, of the weight of the song. It was only when I performed it for the first time. It was also like the setup was pretty heavy. There was like only maybe like 100 fans in like a small room. And honestly, like, I could feel it from people, you know what I mean? The weight in the room, and like, that was hard.
It's a different emotion that you're bringing out of people, an emotion that you've never evoked from a human.
Exactly, because also, I don't like to feel sorry for myself, you know what I mean? I don't like that. So it was a weird kind of performance for me, really, in general. Because I like, the reason I do music is to make people feel good. So it was a strange dynamic, but an important one.
But by the way, like, sometimes with records like this, you're still accomplishing that goal of making somebody feel good because you're making somebody feel heard.
That's true.
Or you're making them escape to. I mean, when I think of this, I think of fond memories that I have with somebody I care deeply about.
Yeah, nice.
So you still make somebody feel good.
Yeah, true.
It's a beautiful song.
Thank you very much.
What does a wall represent to you? And I know people like ask you like, what's the meaning of it? But like that, like when you see a wall, is that a divide? Is it you put four walls together and it's comfort because you know exactly the room you're in?
I'm quite British, right? A matter of fact, and I see a wall as a wall. You know what I mean? I'd love to like go here.
So like no divide, no nothing. Something to overcome, to tackle.
I'm just not that deep, to be honest. Like, also people have asked me like, what does walls mean to me? The song, it is a song on the album. It's probably one of my favourite songs. I thought it was a quite thought-provoking title, which turns out it is. But yeah, I just that's it really.
Are you telling a story top to bottom with this album?
I've tried to. When I started making the album, I said that I'd like to make it feel like a story top to bottom and chronological. And as time went on, that got a little bit more difficult because I wrote so many songs for this album.
Like 2.5 years ago was the first record.
Yeah, and too many. I mean, I wrote too many songs for this album.
100.
Definitely. Yeah, literally. So many, working with so many different people. But anyway, as time has gone on, I've made it as chronological as possible. So it does. I think still listening top to bottom, you'll get a feel of some kind of narrative.
How hard was it to narrow down 100 plus records to whatever is left, 12, 16, 18 if it's at Target?
It was hard. It was hard to get the last few numbers were hard, like trimming down from like 15 to 12 or whatever it was. But actually, what's funny is once I'd written Kill My Mind, and I also wrote the title track for the album Walls around the same time, that was the momentum that I've been waiting for. And it was, with also stuff going on in my personal life, a little bit stop-start, my writing process. And I really felt like I was getting some momentum there. And I met Jamie Hartman, who I did a lot of the writing with. And that's that last kind of 4 or 5 months of the album, we got some real momentum and probably did maybe half of the album in that time.
What is it about the last two records, Walls and not We Made It, but Kill My Mind? What was it about those two records that kind of sparked this? Was it the sound?
It was the sound. And also, every time I work with someone new, I go in and I essentially pitch myself and I say, right, this is who I am. This is the kind of song I want to make. But, I can see the picture in my head and I can try my hardest to explain exactly what I'm seeing. But not everyone completely understands it always. And I think with Jamie Hartman, who I was working with, that speech at the start was very short. He understood who I wanted to be. And yeah, it just became just a little bit more self-explanatory. We weren't trying to... Because often I was in sessions and I could feel people pulling me to a more urban or like, R&B like melody or production.
Ugh.
Whereas I just didn't really get that with Jamie. He just trusted me instincts.
Because, by the way, like they're doing that because that's easy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's boring, man, when everything sounds the same. And that's the thing, I didn't want to be a part of something that I didn't really like myself necessarily, you know what I mean, in terms of making something that sounds generic to a degree.
When I heard We Made It, I was like, that sounds like Louis.
Thank you very much.
Do you agree, like, when you, like, that song is what you want to be going forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think that acts as... If Kill My Mind is a statement, like intent, We Made It is a nice transition, I think, for the fans. It's a song that I wrote 2.5 years ago, so I kind of had it. I love the song, but I've had it for a while now. So I think it's a good advert for the album. But in terms of where I want to end up, it's probably closer to Kill My Mind.
Now, I have some questions about the lyrics of We Made It.
Of course you do.
Well, you say underestimated and always underrated. Do you feel like, because you've been open about like the whole One Direction thing, and you felt like, you know, the guy in the back. Do you feel like you've always been underrated, and do you still feel like that?
No, to be honest, that was only really, and this is me reflecting on that, you know what I mean, when I'm writing this in the lyric. But that was only really before I'd started writing, to be honest, before I'd started songwriting. Because I could, like as I said before, you know, I was struggling to find my place in the band, and I wasn't singing that much. So I'd always grown up thinking, you know, one of the coolest things to do is getting on the writing and that. So I made it my mission, really. I thought, well, I'm gonna make that my thing, really. And after that moment, especially after that first album of Midnight Memories it was, and I think I'd written maybe 10 out of 14 tracks on the album, and that was like, you know, that made me feel really, really good, really good. And kind of from that moment, I didn't really look back, because I had an identity then, you know what I mean?
And you proved yourself on that album, or you felt like you did?
I think I did, yeah.
I mean, 10 out of 14 records, yeah.
I think I did. You know, that my mission was to, you know, because there wasn't actually at the start a lot of interest from everyone to want to get in the writing. I was like, right, I'm going to make this my thing. I'm going to come out of band and have written the most songs, and that I did.
Well, you were prepared to be a writer post One Direction.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I thought I was going to do. Yeah.
What, like...
I think a lot of people must go through this, like other artists in different situations. Some of the songs I was writing, I was liking at the time. I was obviously like demoing them with my vocal, and I was like, I might as well, you know what I mean? I might as well give it a go.
But are you going to give those other songs up? Like, you have 100 records right now that you
There's some that, again, that didn't work for my record, but for someone else I think could be really cool, yeah. I sent Liam a song about 2 weeks ago, Liam Payne front band, but never heard back from him, the little
Hold on, Liam who? Sorry. I didn't know.
Liam Payne from the band, yeah.
From the band One Direction?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I forgot about them. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, don't be a kid.
No, but like, by the way, he should answer you, right? What's he doing? What was it?
He'll get back to me, don't worry. I'll just send it again and again and again.
You're going to be like every other writer that feels like the song is perfect for somebody.
Exactly.
But does that mean you're still writing like R&B and pop? Because that's kind of the direction he went in.
That was a bit, that song I probably wrote about 18 months ago that I sent him recently. So, that's something I wrote a while ago, to be honest. When, like, as I say, when sessions felt a little bit more like that. It's a bit more like almost like a Post Malone record.
What was it about the record that made it right for him? Why was it?
I just think Liam fits on radio well. The kind of songs that he's doing, especially in the UK, are getting pounded on radio. Just felt like one of those songs that I always thought, I could always hear it on radio. So,
what is the biggest difference between the UK music scene and here in the States?
I
mean, there's a lot.
I don't know. I mean, that. I'm trying to think, but also not be offensive.
To me or to?
Not joking.
Offend me, please.
No, I tell you what, honestly, and this is definitely a massive positive, and it really suits me. There's less judgment. There's less, and when I say judgment, we've got, and I myself, I'm like this. We got a tall gauge or a small gap of what we consider as cool. You know what I mean? So, especially like music snobbery and that. I think it's definitely more prevalent, that kind of thing in England. So yeah, less judgment over it. Less judgment over here in general.
Which, less judgment, but we're more attached to one sound. I think, maybe I'm wrong, but like UK radio is very accepting, or at least BBC Radio 1 sounds like a eclectic mix of great music.
Yeah, definitely. It is. I suppose, it's more diverse than your average American pop radio station. But also, you know, there's the good thing here, there's like however many stations for you to choose from. All these different stations, whatever genre. It's mad.
Yeah, over there, what do you get? You get
We've got literally like
Greg
5
James
good stations.
and Roman Kemp.
Yeah.
And then Hart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Radio X is good.
Radio X is good. God, Chris Moyles.
Chris Moyles, yeah.
Fucking
He used to be on
icon.
Radio 1. Yeah, God, you've done your research.
Dude, I'm a big radio guy.
You don't say.
You've talked before about One Direction. By the way, a group that changed my life in many different ways. Changed my perception of music, changed the way I looked at fandoms and what it meant to be a fan and what that culture was. You know, we were talking about the connection that you have with your fans and the relationship and the deep. I mean, it's deep, man. They care.
Yeah.
But I think it's here from somebody just being on the outside looking in. I believe it is as deep as it is because there's never been a boy band like you guys. There's never a band that was just so real and so raw and just themselves, and there was no choreography or synchronicity. It was just good vocals and songs that were relatable with a group of guys that literally felt like they could sit with you in the school cafeteria. It was so different.
That was the intention from the off, man. And you know, I was always a big spokesperson in that. You know, again, from the influences and what I grew up listening to, I couldn't be a part of all wear same outfit, you know what I mean? And because
dancing.
Because also, you know, it was as we came around, Twitter was getting massive as well at that same time, which definitely helped us nicely. But it also meant that you could bullshit less, do you know what I mean? People see the truth now, you know what I mean, or more. So I think it was always. You also see people, unfortunately, that you know have lived this other life as another individual publicly. And eventually that catches up with you know, it's difficult. And that was the beauty of being in a band like One Direction is we could always just be ourselves. I mean, you know, within reason, because there's a young fan base, but completely be ourselves. And that way, you know, if we made mistakes, it was natural. We weren't trying to, you know, put ourselves out there as this, like, you know, I don't know, like, you know.
This, I don't know, pure example of perfection.
There you go.
I mean, I used to see...
Took the words right out of my mouth.
It makes it easier.
Definitely. And I think it's important. That message is important. Yeah. You know what I mean? You had a lot of young fans and there's a responsibility that comes with that. And you want them to see how it is. You want them to see that you're real. You know what I mean? We always wanted to come across, especially when we're younger, like super relatable, like the naughty lads in the back of your class. Do you know what I mean?
But that's also what you were. And maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, absolutely, definitely. I mean, sometimes, especially early on, the media thought we were proper little darlings, but there were times where we were proper little dickheads.
It's nice.
Yeah.
The ability to be a dickhead and essentially get away with it.
You know what? If you do it with a smile and you're polite, you can get away with it. I've learned that in my years. That's what I learned since One Direction. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing you take with you. Yeah. Smile while being a
You said you weren't ready for the band to end, but looking back, are you happy how it all played out?
Tough question, really. You know what I mean? It's hard to say. I mean, I'm happy that I got a chance, you know, to really showcase myself and have moments like Kill My Mind and, you know, make the album like I've made. That definitely feels amazing. But at the time, no, I wasn't ready for it. But it was a shock, you know. That's kind of why I didn't really see it coming, so I hadn't prepared for anything else. But here we are now, and yeah, this is all right. This.
Yeah. When did you start thinking about your solo career?
It was I got that song with Steve Aoki, Just Hold On, and we got a big launch. We got the X Factor slot, and it was just that moment of like fight or flight. You know what I mean? I just thought, right, let's do it. And then again, there's been a few moments in my career that I didn't give it too much thought. It was kind of a yes or no, and I'm like, okay, yes. And before I know it, I'm sat here. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Do you remember the moment where it fully hit you that One Direction was done?
Yeah, I think that last tour show, we did a show in Sheffield, which is like 20 minutes away from where I live, so a special show for me anyway. And I've got this amazing footage on one of my phones. I'm praying I ain't lost it. Of this like time lapse, and I just did it of the dressing room on that whole like last day of the tour in my dressing room. And yeah, there was a moment where me and Niall just sat on the sofa and kind of took it all in. Do you know what I mean? Had a moment to ourselves, and yeah, it was a pretty heavy day, to be fair. Pretty heavy.
It has to have been.
Because it's all I knew, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't hold a job down when I was younger. So, like, this was my first big job, proper job. And then I'm like, all right, wow, that was good, that. What next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because eventually that starts creeping in.
Yeah, definitely. But, yeah, I spent a bit of time kind of, you know, with family and stuff like that. and enjoying a few holidays here and there and a bit of free time. And then before I knew it, I'd been writing songs, and I had that Steve Aoki song, and I just did the X Factor, and then I was on with it.
You're not considering yourself a solo artist until you start performing these records, correct? Or did I hear you wrong in that interview?
I mean, I am, you know what I mean? I know I am, but in my own head, until I get up, because that's why I write the songs, do you know what I mean? And of course you can gauge your reaction through social media and stuff like that, but you can't see it and you can't feel it, you know what I mean? So when I'm at that first tour show, and, amongst every show, and seeing what lyrics mean things to people and hear people sing the words back, that's the reason why I've grafted my arse off for the last 3 years, for that very moment. So in my head, that's when I've started.
That's the moment. What is a good song to your ears today compared to, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago?
What song do I like today?
No, like how you define a good song. Has that changed today compared to a few years ago?
I always try and be a bit more open-minded about stuff, but it's hard because I don't think it's changed too much, really. I think what I want from a good song is a strong lyric that means something, that that carries some kind of weight, not just hot air. And personally, obviously it's a game of preference. I like things that are organic, and so I can hear the guitars and feel the music and the presence. So I think that to me is a good song. I don't think that's changed, to be fair.
I have this weird feeling we're gonna get this like rock type album from you.
It's coming,
dude. I with it so hard.
Thank you.
It's really great. I feel like it's just a sound that is so not being catered to, and stories need to be told with
and it's
live
important,
instruments.
definitely. Guitar music's important, definitely. I know I've always, that's where sometimes music snobbery's confused me in England, is this crossover genre, you know what I mean, between pop and, rock or indie, whatever you want to call it. So it's so important. It's so important because you're blending the two worlds, and you're only going to make the other world more popular, you know what I mean?
Thank you. But by the way, like, what is pop music outside of strong hooks?
Exactly.
The sound that is all around pop music should change for diversity for the ear. Pop to me is popular records that you can sing back at your radio.
Absolutely, yeah. Big choruses that you can sing along to, yeah. Bangers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But those bangers deserve different sounds. They can't all sound the same.
Exactly.
I'm so excited. Wall's coming out in 2020. Do we have a firm date? January?
31st.
31st.
I have to remember it because I've been shit with it this week. 31st of January.
Very exciting. How many times have you listened to it so far?
Well, I've individual tracks, loads. Like, you know what I mean? There's been like 10 different mixes of each track.
It's hard.
But recently, I maybe like 3-4 days ago, I just sat and listened to it top to bottom. It gave me a really good feeling, man. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. So.
Did you have any notes?
No. I mean, listen, I've had loads of notes along the way. This was one of those final listen downs. Was there any little thing that stood out to me? And now I'm happy with it.
How do you measure success today?
I think me doing what I love, and being able to go on the road and do things like that. I think I'm halfway there, like, definitely. Because now I'm comfortable. I'm happy doing music I'm doing. I'm going to be able to get out and see the fans. That's all I hoped for, really. So
has that measurement changed at all, like the gauge, or has it always been?
Since the band, it has, definitely. I think from being in a band like One Direction, you just for the experience, what you're expecting out of everything is the pinnacle. You know what I mean? And we're obviously chasing, the biggest tours, the biggest singles and stuff like that. Whereas, I've done that. I've done some amazing things in the band. I played some amazing venues. I got some amazing awards along the way. So I just sat in my room one day and I was just thinking, what more do I want? I might as well just do what I love. So it got a lot easier after that.
It's special.
Definitely. And it means more to me now, you know what I mean?
You ever get tired of talking about One Direction?
Never, honestly. And I'm not fucking bullshitting. Never, ever, ever. No, because it's just like bugs me when you see people from other bands, do you know what I mean? And whatever situation they want to talk about the past. Look, I grew up in a small town in Doncaster, where I'm from, and that band, you know what I mean, put me in LA today. So, nah, they're the best. Like, and also now I'm out of it a bit, I can just like big them up even more, which is kind of good.
By the way, changed your life and
be a bit more arrogant about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you've come out of it.
Now we're on a break, you know what I mean? Exactly. I can say, yeah, we were good, weren't we?
I know the fans are gonna love that you said break still.
Yeah, it is a break as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Does it hurt you when you see other members of your band not wanting to accept the reality that is the success of One Direction?
Elaborate. What do you mean? How so?
Meaning sometimes people don't want to talk about it. You know, they really don't.
I get it. Listen, I get it to a certain degree. And obviously everyone's different, you know what I mean? But I mean, yeah, sometimes it might bug me. But also, you know, if Liam said something funny in an interview, if Niall said something funny in an interview, you know what I mean? We all know each other well enough at this stage to not take it to heart or out like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it.
Definitely.
Why did you and Liam have such a strong connection?
Well, as he said it a few times recently. We didn't see eye to eye at first, which was funny. But I always like to lark about with Liam. I could always have a laugh with him. And Liam don't take himself too seriously. Do you know what I mean? I could always have a proper laugh with him. He's just a good lad. He's just a good guy. Easy to hang around with. They all are, though, to be honest. All lads. Most of them.
Most of them. You talk about performing, right? And that to you is going to be a big moment of validation.
Mm.
There's some people who don't perform, you know, but they still craft records.
Right.
Do you see them as an artist?
If someone doesn't tour?
Yeah, somebody doesn't hit the stage. Somebody still can sit in a studio, craft
when
art,
I say
craft a record.
When I say what success means, it's what it means to me individually, I think. You know, everyone else has their own goals and explanation of the word. And you know, some artists are different. When I first started my career, there was a couple of people asking me, "Do you want to make an album?" And I thought, I didn't even know people didn't do albums. What else do you do? Do you know what I mean? So you know, everyone's journey is different, I suppose.
They just make singles forever.
Yeah, which is mad to me. Do you know what I mean? How'd you ever have a body of work then? Modern world.
It's just a collection of singles spread across months.
Yeah.
Now you did make that little comment about most of them.
You cheeky
Have you been able to reconnect with Zayn?
Yeah, you're on it. No, I am. I don't think, I said recently, I don't think me or him are mature enough yet to have that conversation. No, I'm not ready to have that chat yet.
Well, it's good that you're honest about it and you can.
You've got to keep it real, haven't you? You know what I mean? Listen, you know what I mean? That's what happens. You make your bed. You know what I mean?
You lay in it.
There you go.
What are you waiting for?
What am I waiting for? What?
What are you waiting for to have the conversation? When are you going to be ready? When will you
I'm
know?
hoping I'll feel a bit more mature and a bit less bitter about it, if I'm being honest. It's just, you know, it's just one of those. I think, you know, people say, don't they, time's a healer and all that. So we'll see.
20 years later, 10 years later, 3?
I don't know. How do I know? I could just go off today. And today, not today.
I was going to say, is this the moment?
No.
Well, but by the way, crazy to say, but like stuff like that does happen for a reason, I guess. Do you believe that? Do you believe that things do happen for a reason?
Don't know really. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Not really. I don't know. I think it's a bit too far out for me, that.
I get it, because we are in control of our own actions.
Yeah, a little bit.
It is a share between the universe and us. There are some things out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we're all adults or humans, and we have control.
Yeah, that's deep, man. You knocked my head off there.
No, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I did have one more question about We Made It. Can you kind of explain verse 2? Is that too broad of a question?
Let me just get to it in my head.
Could you talk about like don't know why they put all this on us when we were so young. We did a pretty good job, and then singing something poppy on the same 4 chords.
Yeah, kind of just an extension of like what I was saying before, really. You know, I those kind of things, and people's opinion used to mean more to me, so I wanted to represent that in the song, which is funny, you know, because I wrote a statement out on my Instagram about 12 months after writing that verse on that song, which shows, you know, it was on my mind there. And in terms of, don't know why, but they put all of this on us when we're so young, just thought it was quite, I don't know, it's quite a thought-provoking lyric in general. I mean, look, they did put a lot of, there's a lot of stress on us. But as I said, I think we did a pretty good job. We did all right.
I think it's pretty cool.
Because I do think, naturally, and obviously everyone's different, but, there's often a lot said about the stress we were under and the workload and all that, but we were at that age where, and it's all we knew when we got in the band was to work like crazy. So, like, it's only really in hindsight when you think, wow, we did work like mad hours and like really hard. Obviously, there were days where it got the better of us, but honestly, it's just such a blur and so many great things are happening. I don't think we were actually that conscious of really grinding, you know what I mean?
You're just going.
Just going, just loving it, like, yeah.
Is there any part of you that wishes you had more time during that phase of your life to sit down and at least kind of decompress or take in what you were hit with?
I think this time round, as in on my solo career, there's like when I did my show at Madrid, something I've never done before is actually just, in like a musical break or something, just take the moment in, look around, think about what's happening instead of just doing, like, and take it in. So I think that's where I'm lucky that I get to go out on my own because I can kind of have those experiences again and be conscious of that. But yeah, there was a lot of kind of just doing, you know what I mean, and not really contemplating how mad everything was.
It's pretty special that you get to have the moments now.
Oh, proper, man. I'm lucky. Dude, I got it twice.
Yeah, you do it on your terms.
Yeah.
On your time. In your way.
Yeah, the best way, yeah.
Louis Tomlinson, I'm just very excited for this album.
Thank you. It's been a good interview, man. Deep.
I really appreciated it.
Yeah, I like it.
Did you one day, before you go, sorry.
I'm not winding this up, by the way. I'm not saying I'm off.
Well, I'm very interested because you are a good football player.
I'm all right, yeah.
Did you dream of one day becoming a professional football player?
Like every kid my age, like when I was like 6, 7, 8. Well, actually, I got into footy a bit later. When I was about 10, I started playing. If I'd started playing since I was 4, like, you know what I mean? You would have known my name as a player, yeah.
You wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But at what point does that change to music?
Well, Oasis are a really good band for that. You know what I mean? They were definitely one of those bands that, brought in football fans and music, definitely, which is a massive thing.
By the way, like making you just touched on something that is so important that I think a lot of people forget about. Like they brought men into music.
Absolutely.
They combined two cultural things and made it into one.
I mean, you got two, especially in England, two probably the biggest things, in the country, football and music there, and you brought two things together. Amazing. Yeah, they're proper band for that.
Did somebody tell you that you weren't good enough to play football professionally, so you should go figure out something else?
Nah, I just knew, you know what I mean? I was good, but there's a lot of good players in England, you know what I mean? The standard's really high, even at Sunday League level and all that. But what suited me was being in a band with, other people who weren't that handy at football. So every time, and now I get asked about it in an interview and they're like, you're the footballer out the group. I mean, I'm best of a bad bunch. I'm a bit better than that. But
you're best of like 6 people.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, out of the 6 people that I traveled with for years, I'm better than them.
Yeah.
But in general,
I'd say I'm better than your average man at football. How's that?
Okay, sure. Dan's pretty good.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
But you keep mentioning Oasis. How do you feel about, was it Noel Gallagher? I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
Wow. Noel Gallagher, yeah.
Do his comments,
disrespect.
They're so old, but did that still affect you at all?
His comments, about One Direction?
Yeah, didn't he call you guys suckers?
Lad, when you're in a band like One Direction, right, I realised this early on, because where I'm from, you know what I mean, if someone says something, you're saying it back to him. But I realised that, being in a band like One Direction, and also liking the type of music I want to like, the same thing happened with Catfish and the Bottlemen. They chat to me about us. I can't remember exactly what it was, and I remember biting back at time. So I didn't listen to that album, and then the new album came out, and this is fucking really good. So it's more the same, and also Noel and Liam are entitled. They are entitled to say what they want. There is the top 1% of music royalty. They're in there. They can say what they want.
Do you hope that...
But also, you know what I mean? We didn't make music for Noel Gallagher anyway.
Exactly.
Did it matter to us? No.
Well, that's what I mean. Do you hope now that he listens to the new stuff and enjoys it?
I don't know about that. I mean, ironically, he's on one of the writing credits on Walls. And there's basically I had this conversation with a couple of people from management and stuff, and one of the songs I've written with Jamie Hartman, which is Walls, sounded quite similar to one of the Oasis songs. And basically I was ready to risk it. I was like, there's no way Noel's going to hear it. And also I could hear what they meant, but it wasn't that bad to me. So anyway, they had to get in touch with him for publishing, and I thought he was either going to say no or take 100% of the song, but it was really sound. It was really sound. So I was pretty buzzing with that. I was a little, I was buzzing with that
Because he really could have you.
He could have completely, yeah. And ironically, I mean, I'm always singing Liam's praises, his brother. So yeah, that was a lucky one for me.
It's locked in, right?
Yeah,
You're not going to jeopardize anything.
I'm playing both sides, you know.
They are music royalty.
They are. They got to be.
But by the way, like to have them as one side of your inspiration, Green Day on the other, I'm excited for this album, man.
Yeah.
Come on, bring back a genre of music that I believe the next generation and my generation deserve.
Definitely, it's coming.
They're being underserved. Final thought?
Okay. Do you regret releasing the BB Rex and Steve Aoki songs?
No.
Not one bit. Nasty question to end on, you little but well, what a lovely interview. Spoilt with that last question. I'm joking, obviously.
No,
I'm joking.
It's honest.
I'm being honest. I'll say I'm joking, but I'm being honest. Honestly, from the heart, absolutely not. I needed to come to that conclusion myself. I needed to experience that kind of song. And also, I was really nervous going into being a solo artist. So what was the easiest option for me? I've also got to be responsible for that action as well. And the easiest option for me was to go with a radio trend, which at the time was dance pop. I saw one of Steve's shows and it was sick, really, really good in Vegas. And that's kind of where the relationship started, really. And the same with BB. I got to film a music video in Doncaster, where I'm from. I'm pretty confident there'll never be, I don't know if there's ever been a music video in Doncaster before, so buzzing to be able to represent that. And as I say, it was an important part of my story.
You'll learn.
Thanks for proper pissing on my fire there, yeah.
Oh, great answer. Great answer.
I will genuinely light your fire one more time. And
Please.
I say thank you for all that you've done. Really, I mean this. I remember the first time I interviewed One Direction. It was at the Big Time Rush movie premiere, and I was working for Nickelodeon at the time. Mm-hmm. And that interview changed a lot for me. And I remember, I just remember from the very beginning, from that X Factor to coming here to the States.
Tell Louis about your Big Time Rush story.
Definitely tell me about your Big Time Rush story. We'll swap.
Yep.
I don't have one. I wish I had one.
You're a liar. I know you have a ton.
There'll be some.
Okay. So I worked for Nickelodeon for a couple years, and Big Time Rush was obviously their thing, and you guys humbly and kindly did charity work by going to their movie premiere, which, by the way, was like grossly all Beatles UK related,
right,
which was like both offensive and totally missed the mark of their own.
Yeah, you're right, and it's offensive, yeah.
So And then the next day they had the Radio City Music Hall show, and I'll remember it forever because Al Roker is the Today Show weatherman and one of my heroes forever. And me and my sister were sitting right next to Al and his kid, and then to the left was David Duchovny and his family. And you guys owned Radio City Music Hall. And the second your show ended, it was like somebody pulled the fire alarm, and people just ran out the exits.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, dude, I felt like it was me, my sister, Al Roker, and maybe 11 other people in Radio City Music Hall watching Big Time Rush jump around. Yeah, it was wild.
That was actually the story I was going to share with you, ironically. Honestly.
That happened at
honestly,
every stop.
it was, honestly, like, I don't want to be tight, like, I don't want to be harsh, it's not fair, like, but, I felt bad for them. They were, and they made it pretty apparent to us at the time that they were aware that that kind of thing was happening and people were leaving in that.
By the way, you look out to the crowd, you see nobody.
We were gone. We were on tour bus. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. We felt pretty guilty on that tour because they were honestly proper sweet lads. Yeah, unless you're gonna tell me otherwise.
No. Very, really nice people.
So you've just enticed me to chat some shit about some really nice people. Yeah, this is going great. Isn't it?
First of all, I'm the one who talked the mountains of.
Yeah, okay, cool. Just as long as everyone's aware of that.
I slander the name of Big Time Rush, and I know people are going to destroy me for it because, I'm very lucky. I've been making radio for a while, and they would come on the show many, 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 many times. I was gonna say when they didn't need to, but they definitely needed to. But I owe them a lot. You know, I really.
It
do.
really sounds like you do. Yeah. No. Jesus.
You know what?
I hope you don't owe me a lot. You know?
No, I am genuinely appreciative for what you've done for music and what you've
Thank
done.
you, mate. Thank you.
Really, your music has really changed the way I view pop music. And
No, I appreciate that, man. That's massive.
you're one of the few artists in the original group that I believe kind of ushered in this level of authenticity that the digital era demanded from people. And you and people like Ariana Grande and a couple other people really showed to me what it meant to be authentic and 100% who you are, from stage to Twitter to meeting somebody on the street. You guys were always the same type of person.
Yeah.
And that was rare. And I think that existed and came off an era of like this two different artists. Do you know what I mean? Like
They're manufactured. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally like just this is the person, pour them into a mold and see where they go.
Print out pop stars. They were. Yeah.
And then you guys came along and it was just something totally different. And to your point, like you filming that music video in your hometown, One Direction has done so much for you, but know something. I think it's the group has done a lot for other people because it made it feel like that type of thing was obtainable for everybody else. Like if 5 normal dudes from a host of different cities all across the UK could come together, or I know Niall's from Ireland, whatever. He's part of United Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm
No. Yeah. I should know that. To be fair, I got an F in geography, so.
I was freaking out,
Yeah,
and I'm the
yeah.
American here.
Yeah. I'll be in trouble for that. Now they'll be fucking fuming.
But it was
How
just-
many fucking times have I told you, Tom?
That was really good.
Sorry, go on.
No, but it was just
Big me up some more, please.
it's just cool to see 5 normal guys, because in that moment you guys prove to anybody and everybody out there that it's obtainable for them too, and if they work hard enough and they go for it and they follow their gut, and if they're hit with an opportunity and they're thinking twice about it, go for it, because you don't know where it could lead.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. That means a lot. You're saying that.
Well,
That was the intention, definitely.
And I see you have a writing credit on Diana. That has to be one of my favorite songs.
Oh, it's a banger. Yeah,
It
that
really
used to
is.
go
Oh,
down
yeah.
nicely live as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that tune.
It
Love that
slaps.
tune.
anything else you want to go to his record?
You want to end on a better note than last time? Or what? I just trying to keep this going.
Okay, we're done.
Right.
Louis Tomlinson, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
man.
you. Sorry.
Hey, beautiful human, thanks for watching our full interview, but I get it. Like, a full interview is a lot. So we got a clips channel. We don't expect you to watch the full thing anymore, so we just gave you the highlights. Please subscribe and notifications and all that stuff. Okay, cool. I love you.